Awesome. We're up on YouTube as well, so you'll be able to watch that afterwards. I'm gonna let more participants kind of trickle in, and then we'll get started here shortly. Right. Yes, participants are muted, so I won't be able to hear or see you. So you should be all good to drink your coffee. Perfect. I'm gonna give just a few more minutes, like maybe one or two more. Oh, forgot it. Oh, forgot that it's still connected to the ring. Oops. All right. Okay. All right. Let's get started. So, welcome to Getting Started with Assistive Technology. Um, oh, gotta be on the right tab. Sorry. So I'm Molly Longton. I'm an assistive technology specialist here at Pacer in Bloomington. And then we will have Elizabeth monitoring the chat. So let's talk about today's handout. So today we'll have all of the stuff that's covered in the PowerPoint will be on your handout. You got a link to this handout in the reminder email, but it's also available with the QR code here and the link that's in the chat. So Elizabeth will put that link throughout. If you're joining late or if you didn't catch it the first time, it'll be available there. So any links to anything that I show, the prices, kind of a good general overview, that'll be all on that handout. Okay. Awesome. So let's go over little tips. So some tips for a Zoom webinar. So we're going to share that link in the for the handout. I just said that. And then we'll also share a link to the workshop evaluation at the end. So that'll be where you get the certificate of attendance, which I'll talk about in a minute. If you are having any difficulties, technical difficulties, or if you have questions or comments, we love questions and comments. Just make sure you put them to everyone. So typically, I think the chat is set to you. Make sure you set it to everyone so we can all see your comments and questions. All right, so if you're attending this webinar live, you'll be able to get a certificate of attendance. You're going to need to submit the evaluation at the end to receive the certificate. We can't give you the certificate if you watched it on YouTube afterwards or if you missed the webinar. It's only available for the live webinar, if that makes sense. So, and I'll show you a little bit more on how to get that at the end. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about Pacer. So Pacer has three main groups that we kind of work, or our main pillars. We've got parent advocacy, we're our state's parent advocacy center, and then we have our social inclusion programs, and we also do assistive technology, which is what you're here to learn about. All of that, more information is available at our website, brand new, pacer.org. So here in the STC, which is my department, we do a lot of different things. We give information about assistive technology. We have a lending library, which is what you see on this screen, with lots of different items. I think about 1,500 items you're able to check out if you live in the state of Minnesota and outside of Minnesota. We also do consultations, those one-on-one AT consultations where we're able to look at different types of assistive technology, and we do trainings. So lots of different things. That's also more information is available on our website. So let's talk about what we're going to do today. So today I'm going to go over a little bit of what assistive technology is, some things to consider when we are choosing assistive technology, and then some categories, and we're going to show some demos with examples. So that's kind of what we're going to do today. So let's talk a little bit about assistive technology. So assistive technology is any product, equipment, or systems that help maintain and improve a person's abilities. So this can be a lot of different things. We can see like that can be something like a reading pen or a wheelchair. Assistive technology is a lot of different categories. The goals of assistive technology when we're using AT is increased independence, improved communication, social inclusion, enhanced learning, better mobility, and reducing barriers. So those are kind of our general goals, basically to improve your life, basically. So assistive technology also includes services. So it's not just the AT, the physical AT that is considered an assistive technology, but also the training, because if you don't know how to use something, then it's kind of worthless. So we have training services on how to use your assistive technology. They go hand in hand. So we do trainings here at Pacer. So AT in schools as well. Schools are required to consider assistive technology for every student that receives special education services as it falls under the umbrella of IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. So it's a requirement. So you are able to utilize that if you receive special education services. The PowerPoint, yeah, we can definitely make it available. I can send if you send an email to the inbox at the end, we can definitely send that over to you. So, all right, when we're choosing AT, assistive technology, a lot of times our first thing is to see a really cool tool and we're like, oh my gosh, how can I choose or how can I put this and fit this in my life, which is a good thing, obviously. But we have to also take a step back and look at it from a different perspective. So we want to make sure that we're looking at the student or the person, the environment, the task, and the tool. So with the student, we want to consider a diagnosis, a challenge, or our desired outcome of using the tool. We want to look at where the tool is going to be used, so the place and time, the resources that are available, and also the task itself. We want to make sure we're looking at the required steps, the task complexity, and any support needed to do the task. And then after we've looked at all those three things, then we look at the tool, and we want to look at, affordability, ease of use, practicality, things like that. So we want to look objectively because sometimes we can see really cool tools and they might not work as well as we would hope that they would work. So there's also a kind of a spectrum of assistive technology, the AT continuum. There's things from low tech to high tech. So low tech assistive technology is considered any item that does not have an electronic component to them. So this is something like a slant board or a pencil grip, fidgets, things like that. Mid tech is that simple electronics or common software. So something like an audiobook, recorded notes, adaptive switches, things like that, simple electronics. And then the high-tech devices are more obviously high-tech. You've got the speech generating devices like AAC, optical character recognition pens, things that are going to read things out loud to you on paper, and meta glasses. Those are high-tech. So those are it's kind of a spectrum. So now there are lending libraries across the United States. Here is just a kind of a diagram of where Minnesota's lending libraries are. We're in blue in Bloomington. You can find your state's program at the website that's in here. It's also in your handout because every state has a lending library. So you can find them by searching, your state's name and lending library. Like this website that I've linked, it gives you the general ones, the ones that are required. But there also might be more. So these don't necessarily show up on our atcenter.net, the website, but there's lots of different options here in Minnesota. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the categories of assistive technology. So assistive technology there's a variety of different ones. We've got vision, hearing, speech communication, which AAC, learning, cognition and development, mobility, seating and positioning, daily living, environmental adaptations, recreation, sports and leisure, alternative access, and sensory. So those are the big ones. Obviously, we can break those down into subcategories and kind of get into the nitty-gritty, but those are the general ones that people are looking at when they are looking for assistive technology in those general aspects. So let's jump into our demos. So the first thing I'm going to demo is in the category of vision. I'm going to demonstrate a sheet magnifier. So these are pretty common. We kind of know about them. They are basically a sheet magnifier. So it is a flexible sheet that is kind of like a magnifying glass. So you can put it on a book or a piece of paper, things like that. And it enlarges it about 2 times. It's affordable, it's portable, these are pretty cheap. So you can kind of hold it to wherever you want. So you can also lay it flat and it enlarges it a little bit, but the best way to use it is kind of hold it above. And you can kind of see that it enlarges. Obviously the camera is it's kind of hard to see on camera, it distorts it a little bit, but it is flexible. You can, you can put it in a book and move on with your day. But it definitely does require a few things like good lighting, stuff like that, but it is an affordable option for low vision. So the next thing I'm going to show is a hot commodity right now is our Meta glasses. Those are super popular. They can be used for a lot of different things. So I'm going to show I'm not going to do a huge demo because we had a demo in our low vision workshop that's on our YouTube page, as well as we'll have a workshop dedicated to the Meta glasses later this year. So, or next year, the fiscal year. So the Meta glasses are a pair of glasses and they have these 2 cameras. Oh, here we go. The 2 cameras here that you basically do a lot of your functions. So you can put prescription glasses in them. Right now, we don't have them. We don't have them with a prescription because they're for lots of people. They have these speakers in the back here and then some buttons on the corner where you turn it on. So when I put these glasses on, they make a little noise in my ear. And that is where I'm gonna be able to ask it questions. I'm gonna be able to do certain commands. So the nice thing about the low vision um, and the Meta glasses is that I'm taking them off so then they don't ding in my ear. It can be a little disorienting. That you can wear them and you can ask things like, hey Meta, what am I looking at? And it can describe different things. On their app, there's an option for you to give like more descriptions. So like more detailed descriptions for low vision specifically. And then it also has a live AI function where you can wear the glasses, you can start a live AI session, and then you can go and ask as many questions. So you don't need that prompting like you normally do for the glasses. You're able to talk and ask it a variety of different questions. Yes, so the Meta does refer to the Meta that owns Facebook. They are related. You can use the Facebook account that you sign up for, or you can make another account. We have a separate account for ours. But with the live AI, it is just very fun and very cool for low vision because you can ask so many different questions. You can say, how far away am I from the stop sign? And it can give you an estimation of how far you are. It can give you directions to certain places. It can show you, you can say, is there an object in front of me? And it can give you a description of what's in front of you, show you the color. So basically it has a lot of different options with the glasses. Now there's lots of different functions, not with low vision. We just are seeing that they are really amazing for low vision. So stay tuned for another workshop on our Meta glasses. And they also, I should say, they also charge in their case. So they're very similar to AirPods where they come in the case and then you can charge the case. And so they last about 4 hours if you're using them continually. And then you can pop them in, they'll charge in the case, and then you can wear them for longer. So that's a little bit about the Meta glasses. So let's go on to hearing. So our next thing is hearing. And we've got 2 things. We've got caption phones and an alarm clock. I forgot to change when you press it, it goes. So we've got our hearing, our caption phone. So our caption phone is a phone, essentially, that shows captions. So this is the physical phone, like the landline phone, and it's a little hard to see, sorry. Like the older phones that, back in the 2000s, but it has an amplified receiver, and then it has the option to, like, when you're talking to someone, the captions are going to show up like this. So this is a demo that it has on here. You can put it on speaker. It's super loud. And so there's kind of that. It basically does the captions of whoever you're talking to. They also have an app. They have an app for Android and for iPhone. I cannot speak on how it works, but it's very similar to the caption call phones. So they basically do the same thing. So that is caption call phones, and those are free to qualifying users. So if you are someone who's hard of hearing and you are looking to get that for work or for your house, there's an option to do that. It's on their website. The app is called Caption Call. So it's the same company. I know that there's multiple apps that do the captioning for you, but the one that's connected or the same company as this one is Caption Call. But yeah, there's that. So let's also look at the alarm clock. So this is relatively new. We just got it in the library a few days ago, actually. And this is kind of an alternative to the Sonic Boom, the shaker, like that shaker, bed shaker alarm, but it's a little bit different. It's definitely emulating the Hatch. It's got this fun little display. It's kind of hard to see, but this is a rainbow light. There's lots of different colors, so you can kind of see the rainbow like in the reflection of my hands, or like this. You can change the colors up here. You can change the brightness. It doesn't have an app that you're connected to. It's just an analog clock. You set the alarms on the clock and you turn them off on there, so they don't have anything that you're connected to. It's super loud, so you can turn it up to volume 10, which is crazy loud. We were trying it in the office. I'm not going to blast your speakers, but even the 2 is pretty loud. You can choose for your alarms a variety of different like sounds to wake up to. They have the traditional, the crazy loud dinging, and then they also have like birds and stuff like that. You're able to snooze it and then also turn off the light so that you don't have to have the light on there. The nice thing about this, the difference between this and some of the other bed shaker alarms, is that this one is wireless. So it has 3 versions of vibration, charges with a USB-C, but it also charges right on the back. So you can just pop it back in there at night, or not at night, in the morning. But you can slide this under a pillow, and then it'll shake really aggressively. So there's that. Yeah, so that's kind of a little bit of the clock. This clock is, I think it's just called Loud Clock with Alarm Shaker. It's on Amazon. Yeah, and the link is on the handout, but it is definitely a fun one. Yeah, okay, so let's pop on to the next thing. There we go. Okay, so next thing we're going to look at learning, cognition, and development. So I'm just going to briefly show some of these items. Our first one is the reading guide strips. This is a low-cost option and a low-tech option. So if I go over, we've got a variety of different ones in the library. So I've got my book here with the Hunger Games. I just grabbed our stack from the library. They come in all different shapes and sizes and different colors. So these are the See and Read. You can see they cover most of the thing. So I can see, like, I can go down and go line by line, but it still gives you the option to see the rest of the page. We also have other ones that kind of block it a little bit more. So this one is blue, and I can go line by line and kind of highlight. And then they come in different colors. The reading helpers come in, we've got purple, clear, blue, red, things like that. I think there's a yellow one. But those are the See and Reads and the reading strips. And they come all the way into like these big versions. So like for a textbook or something like that. Yeah, and they're pretty flexible, like you're able to kind of just pop them in a book like that magnifier and carry them with you. So there's that. Yes. Oh, just a reminder, if you have questions, just make sure that you put them in the chat so that we can see, for everyone can see them, because if you have a question, someone else probably has a question as well, and making sure everyone can see it, then I can answer it, Elizabeth can answer it, so we can kind of do that there. It helps us a lot. So thank you for that. So next thing we're going to show is mod math. Mod math is sorry, I'm grabbing my other iPad here. Mod math is a math app, and they have it's basically like online graph paper. So they have a subscription model that they just moved to, but you can still use their app without the subscription. It's just a little bit, the features are a little bit more limited. But what's great about Mod Math is that it helps with dysgraphia and dyslexia. So you don't have to handwrite. So you can add a worksheet into here, and then you're able to do the worksheet on here. Each box is a box that you can type in. So I can add, 56, and then I can go down here, plus, or that's dividing, sorry, plus 8. And then I can go in and add a little line, and I can drag the line across. And now I have that work there, and I don't have to write. You're able to, obviously I used my fingers. You can use a stylus or a pen, things like that. You can put text in here. You can put shapes, boxes, things like that. And so it kind of helps that organization and the spacing and legibility of the math. Yes, so ModMath works on iOS and Android, and then I do believe they have a version for the Chromebook. I think it's a little bit more limited if I'm remembering correctly, but I also might be thinking of something else, so don't. Yeah, Elizabeth will answer that question. But yes, so it's not everyone's cup of tea because you do need to, type in every single box, so it can be a little frustrating, but it is a good option for your like organizing that math. Also, we aren't able to do the raised hand, so just add your question in the chat if that would be great. So the next app I'm going to show is a visual scheduler, CanPlan. It's also an app. CanPlan is iOS only, I believe. But it is a visual scheduler. So here, if I open the app, this is CanPlan. It's pretty big. So I can press all tasks, and I can see all of the tasks that I have. So I have, these are some different ones that I've tested, or not tested, but made. And I can add a task pretty easily. I can put it down here, and I can take a photo, and I can add that task name. And then I can add as many tasks, like as many steps to this task as I want. I can record audio, but I can also just have it read it out loud. So for example, we've got this one. This is make Nespresso coffee. I can press this.
Make Nespresso coffee. Make Nespresso coffee.
And then it'll just use that native iOS voice, whatever voice you're using for your speech to text, things like that. And I can press start, and it's going to go through, and it shows me some different there's some different steps. I can go through each step, and it can show a picture, and then I can press done if I'm done with the task, and then the task is done. So there's kind of that. You can add a schedule too. So if I go to my calendar, I have different tasks that I've done, and then you can also schedule them. So if I have a task, I can go from day to day. Wednesday, I have this. Obviously, we don't have any on here because we're showing it as a demo, but you're able to schedule them there.
Couple questions.
Yeah.
Do you know of any Android apps that are similar to CanPlan?
That is a good question. I'm not sure. I would need to look into that. I think I'm thinking of another one, but I think it's iOS only, which is yeah, but I will, that's a good question. I need to check on that. There's lots of scheduling out there, but the visual piece is definitely helpful. Do you know of any devices that record audio and will transcribe as well? Yeah, so we have a couple that we are looking at. So we do a lot of college student consultations, so it's definitely an option there. But with the note taking, we just got the Plod note pen. That is like a little pen that records audio. but not going to get too much into it. Otherwise, we'll go over. But um, you can email that question to our inbox, and we can definitely give you some options. So, all right, let's go on to the next section. We've got, oh, sorry, I had to be on the right spot. Now let's look at alternative access. I want to make sure I get to that. So alternative access is a very broad category. So I'm just going to look at two different things. So with the first thing, we've got switch access. So I have a switch here. I have this big candy corn, and the big candy corn is just one of the switches we have in our library. We have, I think, hundreds of them. We've got lots of different ones. This one's a proximity switch, so you're able to touch it and activate the switch, and you don't have to fully touch it. You can just hover over it, and it makes a little beeping sound. I can show you what that looks like. So when I touch it, so here, let me turn the lights on. So it also has like little lights, and you can see when I activate it, the lights turn on. So it is making this fan go. And I'm just hovering over it. It also makes a sound. You can turn both of those off. But this can be great for, you can use switches with interfaces for the computer. You can use it with switch activated toys. You can use switches with a lot of things. And switch access is another broad category that we won't get too much into. We have workshops on our page. So, but yes, that's one of these, and you can check this out from our library. So that is the big candy corn. Now let's also look at another version of alternative access, which is the large print keyboard. So Bluetooth keyboard sometimes is something that people think of, oh, like I use a Bluetooth keyboard for work. Might not think of something as alternative access, but this is a great way to move. You're able to move it, even if you're using a laptop or a Chromebook, you can move it closer to you, you can move it away from you, you can have it on a tray and things like that. So with this keyboard, it's large print, Bluetooth, and high contrast. So this is made specifically for low vision. We have this and a white one, but it's got, yeah, so it's made for iPad, for Mac, but it also works with a Chromebook. It's a Bluetooth device. So yeah, you can type on here, turns on with just like a little button. It's battery operated and things like that. But yeah, here, sorry, I don't know if I showed.
You were.
I was out of view. There you go. Yeah, so it's battery operated, has like two batteries. You can connect it, just a quick button on the back, and then yeah, turn it off. So it's pretty simple, pretty easy to use. Yeah, and you can be able to do some typing. All right, so let's look at the speech communication category. So the speech communication category is also a very broad category. We are actually doing a workshop at the end of September, September 29th. I'll also be doing that one. So it's on communication specifically, introduction to communication. So I'm just going to show one. This is a kind of affordable and the lower tech, that mid tech version. So this is the talking brick. Now I have, here we go, here's one of them. So talking brick is a little brick and it talks for you. That's kind of what it does. So it is a small brick. It's got little spots for you to connect to other bricks. I think they come in a pack of 3, if I remember correctly. Charges with a little charger here. And then you're able to, it's got recording instructions right on here. And it's also magnetic, so you can connect it to like a fridge or something that is like a whiteboard, something like that. But you can also, we just put a little piece of Velcro on there. You can Velcro it to something else. Now, when you are recording, or I can't remember, oh, you can also put pictures in there. So it has this top, it's usually easy, sorry. This little clear top that you're able to put something in there, so you can put a picture, you can put a diagram, something like that, and then you can pop it back on there, and then there's that. So then when I want to use it, you just press it. I don't know if you can hear it, so I'm gonna bring it back to, or bring it up to our microphone. So here. Hope you can hear that. It says these are the talking bricks. The closer you record to it, the louder it is. But it's really easy to record. You put it into record mode, you hold it, it blinks, and then then you can swipe it back to on, and then you can press it, and then every time you press it, it's going to talk to you. And so you can use this, you can connect them to create kind of like a board where you're able to say different things. You can leave them one by one. There's kind of lots of options. It's very versatile, and you can record you can record whatever you want to say, which is kind of cool. Yes, those are very similar to the buttons that people train their pets to talk. Same concept. These are made specifically for speech communication, whereas the other ones have they're made for pets. So these have a little bit more longevity, if that makes sense. But yes, so those are the talking bricks. So let's look at some other ones. All right. So with mobility, seating, and positioning, so mobility, it's a big category. And we don't have a lot of mobility and positioning aids and like adaptive chairs and things like that in the library, just because that's not necessarily our specialty. That makes sense. Everybody's going to need something different when it comes to a mobility aid or a adjustable positioning aid. Those are going to be more specific to you. And so there are other spaces to kind of explore those. But there's lots of different options. So, mobility, you've got scooters, you have the classroom chairs, adjustable classroom chairs, adaptive chairs, things like that move and can almost adapt to you. But I'm going to show two things we have in our library, which we have the folding reacher. The folding reacher is a foldable reacher. So no, not very, but basically it folds up so you can bring it with you, and then you can pick things up without needing to bend down or grab or move at all. I just grabbed my chapstick and then I can put it back, and it doesn't require a ton of grip strength. It's pretty light, actually. Obviously, like however heavy something is, like it won't grab super heavy things, but it does pretty well. And then it's foldable, so you can take it with you. It's pretty easy. It's a low cost, low tech option. So that's kind of the folding reacher. I also just got this swivel seat cushion in our library. It is a mobility or a positioning aid. It's intended for like getting in and out of a car or getting out of like a chair, so you can sit on it and swivel. So it swivels completely around 360. It has this anti-slip mat on the bottom that's glued on there. It has a removable cover, so you don't have to worry about that. You can wash it, it's washable. And then it's got a nice little foam padding, so nice to sit on. And it can go on any chair. So I feel like I'm serving pizza right now. But you can kind of move around. You can put this on a couch cushion. You can put this on a car chair. It's very versatile. It's pretty small. It's about 15 inches in diameter, if I remember. But that's kind of the swivel seat cushion. So with a lending library, you can borrow items for up to 4 weeks. So with a membership, which you can get a variety of different memberships, you can borrow them for up to, yes, that's a great idea, sorry, up to 4 weeks at a time, 4 items for 4 weeks, and then you can renew them if no one's waiting for the item, up to 2 times. So yes, I also thought about that as a sensory seating option, that swivel seat cushion, kind of get that movement in. So it's definitely versatile. So you don't have to use this just for that positioning and mobility aid. You could use this if you need to get a little bit of controlled movement out and things like that. I could see that being used for sure. So that is the swivel seat cushion. So let's look at some other things. So our next thing is daily living. Now, daily living is a huge category. We've got lots of items. I'm going to show you 2 things today. We're going to show assistive tableware and then the electric nail clipper. So our assistive tableware set is, it's a set with 6 things in here. So 6 different items. So we have 2 bowls. We have like a bowl, and then we have like a plate bowl. All of these items have silicone on them, which helps it so that it doesn't move. It doesn't slide off of the table. It's also shaped, it's kind of hard to see the shape here, but it basically curves up like this. You can't really see. It's like not focusing. It curves up like this blue part. The bowl curves upwards. So then when you're using this spoon that comes with it, which has a curved handle and a adjustable, or not adjustable, but like a smaller base, a differently shaped spoon, you can grab them, and because it is upwards, it's a little bit easier to maneuver food, if that makes sense. And these also are a silicone handle, so it's a little bit easier to grip. Kind of get that non-slip out there. These both look the same. They don't have any difference, the spoons. But the bowls are a little bit different in that this one has a small lip on the corner, and this one does not have a small lip. They both are slanted, and they both have that non-slip base, but they are a little bit different. When it comes to the cups, there's two cup options, one with a handle, one without a handle. They both have silicone on the bottom, so they're easy. Like they don't move too much, obviously, like within bounds. If you tip it over, it's not going to stay. But they have a silicone cover that has a spot for a straw, so it's a little bit leak proof. And then and then a little handle here. For this one, it's got a little bit bigger of a base, so it's kind of like a little bit easier. It doesn't move too much. I'm not showing it very well, but if you tried to like pick it up, things like that. Yeah, that's a good question. I would assume that they probably come in left-handed, but I'm completely sure with that, but that's a good question. I haven't been asked that before. Yeah, I think this is probably just our right-handed ones. Or I wonder if there's, oh, sorry. Elizabeth's getting that answer for you. But yeah, so that's our assistive tableware. You are also able to check this out from the library. It is in our demo space. Everything's thoroughly cleaned, so doesn't say.
They don't like they
They-
say it's for all.
Yeah, they don't specify, so maybe it isn't. Yeah, I feel like you'd be able to use it like both ways. I think it's just like different. I don't know, I probably look weird. Look like a biker. But yeah. So let's look at the electric nail clipper. That is super popular. People really love it. It's from a local company made in Minnesota called the Little Nipper, which is kind of a funny name. Comes in this little box. There's three sizes. There's the adult, infant, and child. We have all three in our library. You're able to check them out. And it is an automatic nail clipper. So it clips your nails automatically. So it's a little device, it's pretty small. You're able to take it apart so you can clean it, charges with a little cable here. And it has this silicone gripping on both the sides and the bottom. So when you turn it on, you can see it has a little light, and it does this little clipping sound. And then you put your finger in here and you can kind of move it to clip it. I'm not exactly the best person to demonstrate what it does because I have acrylics, but you can put your fingernail in there and then move. So I can use it one-handed too. So I can put it in here and move my finger and cut it that way. So it is a little bit loud. So if that is something that you don't love, it is a little louder because it's that automatic piece, but it is a really good option for someone that might not be able to use traditional nail clippers. That makes sense. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. We've got environmental adaptation. So that's also a really broad category. We've got lots of different things. That's a common question we get actually, back to the little nipper. I don't know if it would work for feet. It's not a very big hole for like the spot. So I don't think you would really be able to use it for toenails. But you know, you can always try. So, with the environmental adaptations, we've got smart devices. Those are a big environmental adaptation that a lot of people are using for disability reasons, but they are really helpful for someone with disabilities. There's also things like control access, so switches, the power link, ramps and lifts. Those are all considered environmental adaptations. So I'm going to show you two environmental adaptations, which is the Echo Show and a smart light. So obviously the Echo has a lot of capabilities, so I'm not going to show you all of that. But with an Echo Show, we have a little device here. Oh, stuck. Sorry, y'all. What is going on? Sorry, it's stuck behind here. I had it working earlier, but it's okay. I think you can see it. I'll move the camera. There we go. It's okay. So we have the Echo Show. Hold on, y'all. There we go. I got it. I moved the camera. Okay. Crisis averted. Sorry. So we have the Echo Show. It is one with a screen. You can also do the same, most of the same functions on one that does not have a screen. Right now it's not listening to me because I don't want it to hear this. But you can do lots of different. You can do sticky notes. You can do different controls, routines, tasks, things like that. With the Echo Show, the difference with this is it does have look and see. It's not my favorite feature when it comes to low vision, but you are able to hold something in front of it and ask like, what is this item? Very similar to the Meta glasses, but I think it does a little bit of a shoddier job in my opinion, but it is an option. One thing that it's really popular and what people use it for is like being able to turn things on and off using voice commands or routines. So for example, when you use an Alexa in succession with our next item, which is a smart light, something like this, you're able to set routines and turn things on and off without needing all of that mobility piece. So I can set a routine to have my lights come on at 6:30 every day, and they're going to turn on without fail at 6:30 every day. I can also have it change colors. I can have it dim the lights. Basically, it doesn't require any anything but a voice command. But there's also options to have a smart plug, which takes a traditional item like a traditional lamp that you might not want to use a smart bulb because it can sometimes be a little pricey. And you can turn that into something smart. So like I use it for my Christmas trees in the winter. I like to plug my Christmas tree into it so that I can ask my Alexa to turn off my Christmas tree at night and things like that. With the power outage, so I have had extensive experience with that at my house. It does reset for the most part if you keep everything on, but it can be a little bit of a challenge where you'll have to go and reset them. I will say the higher price bulbs do a little bit better than the lower priced bulbs with resetting when power outages happen, but they both do reset pretty easy. It's not like crazy hard if that makes sense. But yeah, there's lots of different options. There's so many different smart lights out there. These are just some that we have for our library, but there's so many different brands. So, and you can control these on an app too. So you don't have to have them connected to an Alexa to use them. You can still do the same routines on their app and on your phone. So there's that option. So let's look at the next thing. So we have recreation, sports, and leisure. So we've got some different, that's a big category. We've got mounts, sporting equipment, Switch adapted toys, adapted games, things like that. Those are some options. And the ones I'm going to show to you are the Nintendo Switch controller and the talking glow dice. So the Nintendo Switch controller is something that a lot of people don't think of when it comes to accessibility is gaming. We have a lot of accessible gaming in our library. We have one for the Xbox, we have one for the Nintendo Switch and the PC gaming, and then we've got lots of different things that go along with that. So with a Nintendo Switch controller, this is the Hori Flex controller. We've got, here, I'm sorry, just gotta bring it up. There we go. You can use it just as this to make it a bigger option. It doesn't do like the back and forth. It doesn't have that tactile awareness like the traditional Switch controllers, but it does have the option for you to use bigger buttons. And then it also has all of these ports. So all of these ports can be connected to a Switch, like I showed you before, something like a proximity switch where you might not even need your hand, or you could use an elbow, or you can use just a hover, things like that. And you can, so whatever you plug this switch into, it becomes that control. It also has two USB ports for a left stick and a right stick. So in our library, we have a joystick that's a little bit bigger. And so then instead of using the small little ones on the Switch controller, you can use a big one. Now the Xbox controller is very similar to this, where it has the same ports where you're able to plug them in, and then you can connect them that way. Unfortunately, it is a wired controller, but it has a really long wire. Most of these, it does get a little bit wire heavy when you're using it, but it is something that's really fun that you can set up, especially with Switch games. A lot of them require a little bit less control than a traditional Xbox or a PC game. So then you'd be able to really do that adaptive gaming piece, which is pretty cool. The next thing I'm going to show you is our talking glow dice. So our talking glow dice is basically a low vision dice aid, and you're able to have, it's got the braille piece here and here. It's got playback and roll, and when I press it, it rolls a dice for me. So we've got, it shows me 2, I can roll it.
6.
I can also
6.
ask it to play it back again if I didn't hear it.
6. 1. 2. 1. 1.
So instead of having to roll a actual dice or try to find it, you're able to have it on there, or have it like it's lit up, and then it says it out loud to you. So yeah, and it's battery operated. You can turn it off here. It's pretty simple, but yeah, that is the talking glow dice. With the yeah, awesome. Yes, so it's used to participate in games. So you're able to use this with any game that would use a traditional dice. You could have this instead of a dice. So it's used so that you can participate in any board game. And yeah, use it that way. So the yeah, lots of different options. So I think the last thing I have is sensories. The last two things I'm going to show you are D20 options. Oh, for D&D, that's a good question. That I am not sure. I would need to look into that. But that is a good question to think of because D&D is very popular right now. Yeah. Well, yeah, if you email us to that question, we can also answer it. But yeah, I would need to look into it. So with oh, weird. That's super funky. Yeah. So then with our last thing, we've got sensory. The two things I'm going to show you is the cuddle box and the swivel chair. We have both of these in our library. The cuddle box is something that is demo only at the moment as we're figuring out. We just got it donated so graciously from the company, Tumble Track, and then with we're trying to figure out some different ways to how our policy is going to be around it. But then the swivel chair we also just put in our library and it just got checked out. Very popular. I have a video of both of them. So this is the video. Doesn't have any sound. This is what this swivel chair does, is you can sit on it and just spin around. There's lots of different options on Amazon. The one we have is from Amazon, but there's different colors, shapes. There's ones that have a back to them. And then this is the, and it's also very relatively small. So with the swivel chair, it's about 16 inches. It's made for younger audiences, but they do have ones, that are for older kids that I've seen pop up here and there as they're gaining popularity. With the cuddle box is basically like you took a sensory swing and a trampoline and you kind of merged them together. It's a very versatile tool. It is like 5 layers of Lycra. So the blue around is Lycra, as well as the green, purple, and pink. So they can use it as a trampoline, as you're seeing here. They can go inside of the layers. They can go in one layer. They could go in another layer. They can also use the bottom as like a sensory deprivation chamber, kind of like a fort and things like that. And so it's also that machine washable piece, but it's very bouncy, so you can kind of jump on it. Again, it's also intended for younger audiences, but it is rated up to, I think, 100 pounds. But I do think it is a little bit more useful for younger kids, if that makes sense. So that is yes, it is very expensive, which is why we have it in the library, because I wanted it to be able to be something that somebody tries out before they spend $550 on it, because that is a pricey price tag. So yeah, that is the tumble truck, cuddle box, and this swivel chair. I think that's all I have for us today. I loved your questions. Does anyone have any other questions? You can put them in the chat. I'm going to talk a little bit about the workshop, or
It looks like.
it's in the App Store. Maybe I linked the wrong thing.
It might be it looks like it's only available in the Canadian App Store.
Huh, that's super strange. Yeah, so it looks like the Can Plan is only in the App Store, or the Canadian App Store. That is a new development, as when I showed it a few weeks ago, it was not like that. So I do apologize for that misinformation there or that mistake, I will definitely, that's good to know. It's those that we'll look into it. And I apologize for that. So with so you can always call us for questions. You can visit our website. You can email us. But then for the upcoming workshops, we have lots of workshops every month. Our next one is next Tuesday. We've got assistive technology for math, assistive technology for communication the following Monday. And then we have using Chrome tools to support diverse readers. That's kind of at the end of October. It's kind of Chromebook tools for reading. And then any workshops, that's just our STC workshops. They also do a lot of PACER workshops. Those are available on our workshops page on our website, as well as that QR code that is on there. So, and I also linked them in your handout, so it should be there as well. With the workshop evaluation, so I know we're a little early. I know it's 12:50. Wanted to make sure I didn't run over this time. But with the workshop, you're going to need to fill out the evaluation to receive the certificate. So the certificate of attendance is not available if you're watching on YouTube or after the fact. The survey, so it's a quick survey. Make sure at the end you'll click that link. Otherwise, you won't be able to get the survey. So, or the certificate of attendance. So sometimes can be a step that we miss. But yeah. Well, I also have a last thing. We've got our Raise a Glass is this Thursday at Wooden Hill Brewing in Edina. You can come hang out with us. I'll be there talking about assistive technology and showing some different items. This is also on our events page. It's going to be a fun event that is a toast to Pacer. So it's from Thursday, September 18th, 5 to 8 p.m. Anyone can come. Just because it's at a brewery doesn't mean it's 21 and older. It's younger. It's all audiences and things like that. So again, if you have any questions, just email us or reach out via phone. So thank you so much for attending. I hope that you learned something. And yeah, make sure you fill out that survey to get your certificate of attendance. Little talked out, I guess. So thank you so much. All right. Make sure everyone has got that survey. I'm gonna end here soon. Oh, perfect. She's gonna put that survey in the chat. It's already in the chat. If not, we've got our Survey Monkey. I'll stay on so that we can get the link there. You can just have me hanging out in the video room. So, all right, that is the survey. I'm gonna end here soon.